What's up, world? How are you today? Tell me something good in the chat. Depending on the day you're watching this, it is Halloween in the US, and also the Dodgers won the World Series last night. And I wasn't with my kids, but I got lots of voice video calls with them and pictures this morning of them. And I mean, obviously, living in LA, like everyone's over the moon excited about that championship. So, that is some good that's going on today. And I'm continuing to honor my laid back work as an entrepreneur. Um, of working smarter, not harder. And even though today I had a 6 a.m. conference call by choice, I went to the gym. I had this amazing masterclass, and that is why I am here to talk to you. And then later today, I'm going to watch football and then Halloween party. So yeah, what's up, everybody? If you're watching live or catching the replay, let me know in the comments what's good in your world, no matter whatever day you're watching this, because I always find it's important if we can try and root everything in gratitude and abundance. Certainly, there are some days that are harder than others, some seasons that are just stressful and unforgiving or relentless. But no matter what, there is always a silver lining. There is always something to be thankful for and grateful for. And when we start our days with gratitude, it changes our perspective. So I could have been upset and angry that I had to wake up at 5 a.m. and sit here in front of my computer with my camera on at 6 a.m. Or I could choose to be grateful. And as a result, I have just had the best day ever. So I keep saying so. This is just to inform you that if you weren't in the room today, we did something that was a first of its kind. And I only know from the takeaways and testimonies that we naturally and organically captured in the room how valuable today's live session was. So, my name is Kristin Gutierrez. If you don't know me, I am known as the Say Yes Queen, and I help other coaches, consultants, and course creators sell higher ticket items, higher ticket offers, so you can live a life of freedom and fulfillment, financial abundance without the hustle and grind. Because if you've ever been stuck in a 9 to 5, in working for somebody who doesn't live in your same time zone, or trying to monetize your own expertise and then stuck in back to back to back to back implementation meetings and needing to prospect on top of that, like, that hustle and grind is real. I mean, wave at me if you lived through the pandemic, right? So we all know we are a culture that now knows, for better or for worse, like the pain of hustle and grind. And I have finally stepped into my season of rest and restore. And that's what I mean when I like pulled back my work hours. In fact, it was this year, 2024, when I said, well, if it's not working, it's not working. So it's not going to work if I choose to burn myself out and sit here around, because I can sit here like the best of them and work. But am I working on revenue generating activities? Am I working on things that are going to move the needle in my business? You have to make that decision. So the day I decided, I think it was like May. Yeah, it was May, June. The day I decided that I was cutting my work hours in half was kind of the day everything turned around for me. I had iterated my high ticket offer system enough to finally start getting sales. And within one 6-week period, I did $125,000, $126,000 to be precise, $125,000 of sales in one 6-week period. And that is really where the light bulbs went off for me. And I said, this can be repeated in an effortless way, as long as I'm willing to show up be messy, put myself into momentum, lean into other people. You might know I have a 4-step simple framework for taking massive imperfect action. And I always encourage others, like if you're stuck, if you've got imposter syndrome, if you're not sure how to do the next thing or get after your goal, did you know that our brains release dopamine, not when we finish the thing, but when we put ourselves into momentum? So the 4-step, I'll put it in the chat, the 4-step simple framework for taking massive imperfect action is simply to decide today that you're going to do something to move the needle. It can be you're going to decide on your big goal, but it really can be like, if I'm a salesperson and I have to make 100 phone calls a day, I need to decide that right now I'm going to make that first phone call. And so once you decide, the very next step of the system is to simply take a step. So if my goal is 100 phone calls and I've decided I'm going to do it, then the next thing to do is to make one phone call, not overanalyze 50 phone calls or 10 phone calls, but it's simply to make one phone call. The third step is to lean in. In this arbitrary example, it might be like, do I have an Excel spreadsheet with phone numbers and names, like easily accessible? Or can I offload some of this effort to somebody else? Could I lean into a colleague and ask them to be my accountability buddy? Could I lean into my coach and ask them for help? Who or how can you lean in to the thing that you decided to do and you took a step on, right? To help propel you. And then 4, this is the most fun part. It's to celebrate. That's it. You're going to celebrate the fact that you decided, took a step, leaned in, and then you start that cycle over as many times a day or a week or a season as you need to. And so often, I'm going to give you a real life example now. I mean, the phone calls thing is a real life example from my past. But today, like, I have a right arm woman named Amber working with me on my business. And it's really cool because she works on the East Coast and I'm out here on the West Coast. And so I'm often receiving voice memos from her at 4 a.m. my time. And then I'm sending her voice memos at 8 p.m. her time. And we have a reciprocal understanding that, like, you just listen when you listen and you respond when you respond. And some days that means I wake up to 5 voice memos, and some days it means she wakes up to the same, right? But for example, when we're building out things for my business and I'm the one implementing or tactically doing something, she'll laugh when I say this because I'll do it and then I'll lean into her and then I'll celebrate with her. So I'll be like, hey, I just did this thing. So we had an objective to build like 5 different mini offers, right? And so within every offer, it was like 1 or 2 little things. So I decided I was going to work on this project. And then I took a step and I just started carving out the easiest one, not the first one, but like the easiest one, like right? Like just like, what's the easiest thing? Like, what's the low hanging win? And then when I was done with that one micro goal task, I messaged her and I celebrated myself. And then I started over. And by doing that, I was able to have one Friday afternoon, like 6 hours of massive deep work, as my friend likes to call it, massive amounts of productivity, because I consistently followed this 4-step framework over and over and over again. Okay, it's like, nod your virtual heads. If you're tracking with me, say yes in the chat, or tracking if you're tracking. I wanted to come in today to share that today. So like, how did I have all of that monumental success in the 6-week period? And how do I keep myself into momentum? And what is it that I'm doing these days? It's like lighting my soul on fire, giving me so much more fulfillment, and just having so much fun doing it. Is I'm helping coaches, consultants, and course creators on how to create their first or next high ticket offer. So it's great. It's like someone say fun. It's so fun. I'm so blessed that this is my job. And then I teach the strategy of selling their offers one to many. And I teach a ninja strategy of how to get into momentum to win their first or second or 10th client. Because it is a fact, whether you're selling a $25,000 offer or a $300,000 offer, like my friend Kim, let's give it up for Kim, how you serve your first client is going to be different than how you service your 100th client. There's a point we teach in which you get to do something super fun called selling from stage, and you get like a table rush, something called a table rush, and we teach you how to seamlessly and effortlessly and like in a really fun way implement that without killing yourself, right? Imagine implementing like 20 people who signed up all at once, and imagine those 20 people created like a $500,000 day for you, right? So like, how do you implement and then still over deliver? We teach all of that. So many of my clients today, they're working on literally their first offer or their next iteration of a baby offer that they had been toying with, or a smaller offer that they really want to explode. And that makes so much sense, right? Because if we think about a lot of time, not always, but a lot of times, like who we're serving, it really is us X steps or days or years ago. So I am truly serving the me of October 2023. And it's so rewarding because I know the struggles. I know the struggles of being in financial distress. Like me, I was in fight or flight, well, for 6 years because of the kids, but then also just immense financial distress and hustle and grind because of all of the 18 months, right? And in continuing to make it work, but it was so painful and so exhausting. And so I understand that. And then I figured out how to overcome it. But that's not without investing in more than one mentor. I've invested in mentor after mentor after mentor at this point. It's like, because you're constantly wanting to iterate who you are, how you're serving, right? And yeah, I mean, like, shout out to Krista Mayshore. She's doing some incredible things, more in the real estate space. I did a lot of stuff in real estate, as a matter of fact. I spent a lot of money in investing in real estate mentors, how to do like real estate investments virtually. And I used to go to the big Dean Graziosi conferences before he partnered with Tony Robbins and took like a different turn. So shout out to all my old DGers. But addition to that, like I bought course after course, mentorship after mentorship, right? And I'm always constantly like trying to figure out what's the thing inside the thing? Like, how do I reverse engineer the thing that they're teaching to make it work for me? And I finally figured it out last year. Thank you to the Purpose Company for allowing me the system and the know-how and teaching me the strategies to monetize my expertise and lean into sales, right? My corporate background. First, I wrote this best-selling book with their help, and then I went off to the races when I lost my job last year and monetized the heck out of sales via sales consulting, right? And this year, you know, it's kind of like, then you invest again, and 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 then you invest elsewhere. So it's constant. But that's why I'm here now with so much knowledge and so much sweat in the game, right? To be able to say, like, this is the system that works for me, which truly is helping others lean into high ticket offers. And what we did today was we did a live workshop, like a strategy lab. And so I'm coming live. If you're hanging out with us a few minutes into this video, I'm only sending the replay to people who registered or showed up, because it was that good that even though there was no price for entry, like you have to be willing to say, I want this. This is a valuable resource. This training is going to actually move the needle in my business. Because if you were in the room and if you raise your hand and say, I want the replay, the people in the room were like, oh my gosh. So there's 3 niches. It's wealth, health, and relationships. And we were so blessed to have somebody in relationships in the room. And we spend a lot of time on her offer because that is often known as the hardest niche to prove ROI for. Health as a niche, it's a lot of times it's body, it's like gain of muscle or loss of fat. And there's various ways you can track the health component, regardless of maybe it's blood work or something else. But like with health offer, the ROI is often that. With wealth, although there's a smattering of wealth offers available, the ROI is often more apparent. It's like I help coaches, consultants, and course creators 10x both their impact, those they're serving and how they're serving them, and also their income, right? But relationships, I hear it time and time and time again how it's harder to figure out the payout, the payoff. It's harder to figure out like what the return is. Now, I have gotten I'm going to mention you again, Andrea. I have gotten emotional sobriety help from my good friend, Dr. Andrea Vitz. I text her every time I have a masterclass of sorts, and I'm like, I mentioned you again. So shout out to Dr. Andrea. So she came into my life, I think, Q4, like this time, Q4 2023, and one 30-minute phone call with her changed my life. And then I went through her program and did her workbook, and I still have her book on my desk, right? The You've Never Met. So it was exhausting on purpose. It was painful, and I cried a lot. And really, that book, her coaching, her one, our first 30-minute call, let alone everything else, like totally changed my life. And a lot of times in relationship offers, you've got people giving you testimonials like that. And so the one person that was in today's live offer review, she too has those testimonials, but it is an interesting conundrum then for some people how to transfer that into more ROI. So we worked through those issues with her offer. I had somebody else in the room today who had a financial services offer, right? And we talked about like, what is your offer research and who have you looked at? We talked a lot about offer research. So I have a 7-step formula for creating your first or next high ticket offer, and we're about to release it very soon. So if you're interested, like, let us know. But we've got this super cool offer formula, and we baked today's entire live review on the 7 steps from this framework, and offer research, modeling what's already working, understanding what the market's already buying is such a core tenet, such a necessary component of making sure that your offer, regardless of the niche, is in an ocean where there's already money flowing, where there's already like people buying things, And so for the financial services offer, we talked a lot about that because he has not yet sold the offer. And he went one step further and created like an offer doc. So we were able to actually analyze the offer doc in this call. And I am just so excited for him because we made it like simple, and we stripped out the things that were not necessary, but sometimes we throw in there because we think that it's adding value. And so those are some of the real-time live strategies I was giving to the various attendees of today's call. So if you missed it, or if you are just wanting to catch the replay, this is the only time and only way you're going to be able to do that because it was so good. I want to honor the room and make sure that we're just not giving away all this stuff. But yeah, if you have questions, drop them below and I'll watch them now or after the replay. What's up, Jason? And so yeah, I just wanted to hop on real quick and share. So if you're just catching this now, drop your win for the day, for the week into the chat. And we're talking about like the journey and transformation of going from like broke as a joke, I don't know how I'm like gonna keep my house afloat, to thriving by working half the amount of time, entering a season of rest and restore, and having so much fulfillment by selling high ticket offers and then teaching others how to sell them one to many or or through DMs. So that was kind of where else I was going. Like how you serve your 100th client is going to be different than how you serve your first client. The offer you make, well, first of all, the offer you don't make, no one can take, but the offer you make today is going to look different than the offer you make tomorrow or the next day. Today was my 16th masterclass. It was a slightly different version of a masterclass, but like 16th masterclass since April 2024. And it is October 31st. So you do the math. Today was my 16th time sending out emails, doing it janky, gathering people in a room. Somebody's like, I didn't even get the Zoom invite. Okay, like technical challenges still happen. And grabbing a group of people together to hopefully inspire and educate and teach and transform them in that session. And yeah, I'm seeing somebody say 16. The funniest, craziest, can I like blow your mind? Like, ready, Kristin, blow my mind. The rooms are small. My mentor says honor the room. Yesterday, one of my clients did a masterclass and she had 7 people register and 1 or 2 people show up. And she was like, I get it. I get it. I get it. Most of my master classes, and the reason, despite having 16 from end of April to end of October, I took a break for a month or two because I was trying to figure out more strategies to fill the room. And now that I've cracked the code, I teach my clients how to do the same. But it's kind of like, how do you fill the room when you don't have a list, when you have a very small list, or when you're running a play like this so many times that you're burning your list because they're like, oh, well, I just attended last week. Why would I attend this week? Or like, what else are you going to teach us? Or like, is it always the same thing? But the point is like putting yourself into momentum and being willing to iterate how your offer looks, what it looks like, what goes in it, what's not needed, and putting yourself back in the room of your mentor and learning from them continuously so that you're constantly sharpening the pencil, I guess you could say, right? And like really, really, really like it, divorcing yourself from the outcome. Like I might need a client, I might need a sale, but I don't need that sale. Like I might need money, but I don't need your money, right? There's an abundance. This is why we started today with like, what are you grateful for? What are you thankful for? What is a win you want to celebrate? Because if we root ourselves every day in gratitude and abundance, then we know that there are plenty of clients out there who want to buy from us, who are called to our voice, who would be honored to work with us. And it's really just a matter of time until they find us. Are we doing everything in our power, like doing 22-minute videos about getting our message out there? Are we doing everything that we can do, right? And are we posting on social media? Are we sending emails? And are we sliding into DMs using my special formula? Like, it's so funny because in corporate, I taught selling in the DMs without selling in the DMs. It happens to be a ninja strategy of mine, and it works, especially if, and even if you're also a coach, a consultant, or a course creator, because conversations in the DMs are so important while you're iterating your offer, while you're running your 16th masterclass, while you're doing ask campaigns, like while you're figuring it out. It's like putting yourself into momentum to figure it out. That is why I'm known as the say yes queen, and like say yes and figure it out, because that is why I shared that 4-step framework up above in the chat. Like decide, take a step, lean in, and celebrate. But when you root yourself in gratitude and abundance, then you're like, okay, I might need a sale, but I don't need that sale. And so and then also like, how can I overserve? How can I over deliver? So often it's we overpromise and then underdeliver, but like we teach the strategies of how to underpromise, over deliver. And the beauty is the under promise is rooted in a higher ticket offer price that's both validated, meaningful, and that the clients really, really, really feel special to buy. So it's really a win-win-win, and I would be honored to share that recording. You just have to raise your hand and say yes. Other than that, I'm going to wrap up this recording. Thanks for hanging out with me today and every day. I am so grateful for my community, and I will see you when I see you.